Rank these options from least likely to most likely to happen. Dylan and TJ stay. Dylan stays and TJ leaves.
Ooh, is a
Dylan
great
stays,
question.
TJ stays and Dylan leaves, or TJ and Dylan leave.
Ooh, that's a great question.
So I would say
most
Jack,
likely.
Well, let's go the other way, because I think we can do least likely is I think the easiest. They both stay. Oh, okay. I was going to say least likely to happen is that they both stay.
I think the least likely is they both leave.
Okay, because that was going to be my next option up. I think they both leave would be.
I think both staying is more like. I mean, I hope I'm not just being optimistic, but I think both of them leaving would be really odd. Yeah. Someone would be ditching a starting quarterback job. What?
Yeah, that you know what, Jack, you might be right actually on that one. So the bigger question is is Dylan and staying and TJ leaving, or Dylan leaves and TJ stays? Which one is more likely?
That is such a good question.
I think the most likely is that Dylan stays.
Dylan stays.
And TJ leaves.
Dylan stays and TJ leaves.
Yeah. Whatever the decision that is made, it's going to be the wrong one, and everyone's going to be
Ask me in 3 weeks. Ask me in 3 weeks.
Yeah, that's true.
I could change around, but honestly, Josh, there's this thing about it where it's sort of like, I just think Dylan and Rule are so similar. And it's like sort of hard to imagine Rule without Dylan here. I think that's a hard thing for me, right?
Yeah.
I just think they're both so conscious of image and PR and I'm sure that I bet they get along so well, the two of them, right?
Yeah.
And by the way, I'm gonna tell you what, part of the reason there's so many Tiefys, Josh, is that I think there are some people who just feel like he is more. I'm not saying I feel this way, so don't go too far with it, but I think there's just some people who feel like he's just more real than Dylan Raiola is. Like, I just think Dylan and Matt Rule are kind of peas in a pod, man. They control everything about their perception every day.
Yeah. Well, by the way, Jabs asked me, he says, your hunch about Dylan leaving changed? That's a good point. Like, I have said that I think he's going to leave, so maybe I should change my answer. But part of it, Jack, is what, like, Stib said something a few minutes ago, the most likely they both leave. Things are getting too good around here right now. That sounds about right. I think my answer, I might be more, like, pessimistic on it, which it's funny that the pessimistic answer for me is that the 5-star stays and the other guy leaves. Maybe I'll change my tune. Maybe it will be TJ. Because I said, Jack, if they play well the next couple of weeks, then I think it's going to make the answer actually easier for everybody involved. And maybe the cleaner decision is to go forward with TJ Lateef.
I would say listen to the podcast with Dirk tomorrow, because I think
you'll very much dig it.
He made some really good points. And while the focus is always going to be on this, Dylan versus Lateef, that's probably not the right question to ask.
Yeah.
Like, Dylan should have had a much better year, and some of that is on him, but not most of it. I would say.
Yeah. We talk about that with him a lot.
And so if they're going to keep him, they got to figure out how to do that.
And that's the thing. Yeah, people say like they think that they can build it with him moving forward. Okay, then you have to do it. You have to actually do it with him moving forward. You know?
Like he hasn't had that's a frustrating thing, is he hasn't had a chance to play up to his potential frequently.
And then I would also say, and he also hasn't played up to his potential. So it's like part of it's not on him and part of it is. Like Dave Fight says, would you feel differently about the two quarterbacks if Dylan was a 4-star and Lateef was a 5-star? I understand the question, because it's essentially you're baking in the expectations for each guys, and Dylan had high expectations. I don't really know. I mean, probably, but I also would say that we have watched Dylan Raiola play 20 plus starts now, Jack. Like, I think that's playing a big part in this too, is that, I think he only has one more year left in college anyway, and there's a lot of excitement.
It was just like
with TJ Lateef.
It felt like Nebraska had to sort of, mortgage everything to get him, right?
Yeah.
They had to pull out every possible stop, which it's just hard to imagine them to after doing everything they could to get him here, to ever cut ties. That's the hard thing to imagine for me, right? Like, I think there's relationships there. There's, hey, we made a commitment to you, but on the other hand, I guess he would land on his feet somewhere. I mean, man, if there were somehow they could get both of them and we didn't have to freaking argue about the two of them like this, but like Dylan's never going to be a backup, right? Like
No.
that. So that's the thing. Dylan will never. There is a scenario. I don't think it'll happen, but there is a scenario where Latif is a backup for one more year. They involve him more in the offense, right? Specialty packages, those sorts of things, and it's his year next year, right? Which, by the way, is part of the reason why I brought up and got killed for the red shirt, discussion. But nonetheless,
I forgot about that.
That's way more likely than vice versa, right? Dylan, if Dylan's a backup, he's not. There's no way he's staying.
No, of course not. Yeah, that's why you're not going to have both of them. That's why one of them is leaving.
I do think there is at least I don't think it's likely a possible scenario where Latif would stay and
to be a backup.
But a backup that, I mean, dude, they bring Harburg in for quarterback. Like, I mean, just do that with Latif, right?
Dude, and
more often.
Can you imagine that next year? Like Latif, let's say he plays really well in these final few games. And he actually was like, yeah, I'll come back as a backup. Like, wow, that would be quite atmosphere around
here. You should cheer for that. You should cheer for that because guess what? You know what happens during football seasons? People like to give me crap. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Quarterbacks get hurt. You should have a good backup. You should have depth. You should have two quarterbacks who can play.
Well, here's the thing, Jack. If they lose him, they're losing Dayton, and then what they will do is they will bring in a transfer. So you will get your wish, and they will have a backup quarterback. I don't think you have to be worried.
I guess unless Davila is good enough to be the backup. But
and he ain't. He absolutely is not. So they will bring in somebody else.